Hi everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield. I'm a professional dancer, professional dance choreographer, and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States, and we're taking a look at a new challenge in the second season of Street Woman Fighter. It is the battle mission. I'm going to be taking a look at each of the battle lineups. We are taking a look at Section A and Section C of each respective group. I have searched high and low to understand as much information about this challenge because I do not have other seasons to go off of. What's really funny is some people were saying that this challenge is kind of like the K-pop challenge but in cursive, which I think is very humorous, and I am excited about the discussions as these are released. So I'm only going to be taking a look at the A and the C sections of the choreographies for each crew. I will not be looking at Section B until next week because they don't have it released at this time, to my knowledge. I also know how the criteria works and the weight of the scoring, and I am a bit surprised at how heavy the global vote is going to play a role in this challenge. It feels like more and more the voting of the popularity of these crews is making a bigger effect on who makes it through and who is eliminated. But we do know that Mnet is one who really likes making money, and they really like making sure that their shows are successful. So by having the public involved more and more, which some people have conflicting feelings about having so many voting sections of this show, it is part of it is a who are the most popular groups, which sucks to the ones who really have a disadvantage in that, and who also won or within the challenges that have already happened. I do know that 1MILLION won the Hwasa challenge, so they were awarded extra points, but we do not who won the other extra points from the global vote, I believe is what it was. But we will find out next week. I do know we have judges Honey J and Trix as special guest judges for this challenge as well. So I'm very curious how they would be voting in this process. So I know this intro is a bit long-winded, but I really wanted to let you know I tried as hard as I could to be as accurate as possible with the context of this challenge so my feedback can be tailored most appropriately. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna get started. All right, 1MILLION versus Mannequeen. Okay. Wow. They have a sexy back, get it? And they're bringing sexy back. I don't know if that was their intention, but I love that. Oh! They pulled a little Sarah right there. Okay. You ready? Yes. Oh, okay. Okay. It is interesting. I mean, of course, I feel like they are doing a... Oh, okay! Oh, okay. Huh. Okay, going from the top of this, very strong run. I do believe so. Strong run from them. I think I do like the costumes. The costumes are cool. Also, Reddy's hair, freaking love. It does remind me of Bada's hair though. I love both of their hair, let's just be honest. I think the extensions look so freaking cool on her. Especially for that last section, it looked really well. This was such a wordplay, like multiple tiers of wordplay. So you notice, like for me, look at the bodysuit, like they have their back. It's a sexy back because it's showing their back, but I'm bringing sexy back. So I just really love that. That was fun. That nice peel up, how to act, get up, walk through. So they're going around the entire stage, which could help them whenever they perform this live, because there is going to be an audience around, right? That would be my assumption for this. So that could have helped them there for that. Do I think that they are bleeding through their music in a way that could bite them later on? Yes. So I've talked about this already, I believe it was with Wolflow. Whenever you choose to go simpler in your content, or you're not making it super dense, or doing it in a way that is innovative to your track, you can run a fine line on it kind of looking forgettable, or there's not a lot of key moments or key areas that you could remember. You want to remember things about a routine because it helps you be more inclined to vote for them. Let's say if I watched all these and I spend the night, or like I sleep and I wake up and I think through each one and I think of multiple key moments within a particular crew, I'm going to be more inept to want to vote for them. But I know most people are going to vote. Some people are going to vote who they're going to vote for regardless of how they do. I love that. Some people are going to actually watch through all of them, and I'm not saying the other people wouldn't. I'm saying they're going to watch through and then they're going to pick who they feel did the diss better. Some people are going to go off of whose costume they like the most. Like, honestly, you're going to get people who vote for stuff for very different things. You have people that are streaming or who like a video because of the name on it, which can really help in global voting. But also you're going to look at, wow, that was the best performance I've ever seen before. They could be new to the show and they vote for it too. So you're going to have a lot of that. I love the fact that they chose to go with this. She kept it really stable. Super, super cool move she did there going into back walkover. She elevated it slightly and I love that. And it is nice that they're like removing the jackets, really using them more. That was super fun. Bring it over. I just think that it's not as complex in energy here, which when you're dealing with the crew, because remember, we are comparing them to Mannequeen. Mannequeen, I haven't seen them yet. We know how complex they can take stuff, right? And I feel like they swung so far the other end for the Hua submission that maybe I'm feeling like they're going to come with a vengeance for this challenge, or they really focus more on this challenge because they get to showcase themselves, but they get to showcase, we can do your track better. And that's something that you're seeing here as a subtle diss. Can I do your track better than you? You know? This right here, I feel like it could have been a little cleaner in the execution. Not everybody was actually making contact with their body parts as they were moving them. Yep. But then when you take a notice here, we only see 5 of them here. I don't see Leah right there. Have a little look here. Yeah, so I do know in the first section you can kind of put liberties in who you want in it, and I think that's kind of cool because you have a group like Jam. Huge risk to only do with 2 people, but because they were so fluent in Afro and they really understand that pocket, that was a really, really good choice that they chose to go with. Now in this very beginning, we're chilling out. We have 6 people. And I've already talked about it's very difficult to be able to frame a group of 6 well, especially if you have features in place. So I think they did a really good job. This beginning was super fun. It provides, their aura is really nice here. But also we are subtly comparing, if those of you who remember who did which crew preview, we know this is Mannequeen's crew preview track. And I remember what they did in this section and it was phenomenal. That was probably one of my favorite sequences from all the crew previews, was their whacking sequences that they did. But of course you got heavy hitters that are on that crew who could utilize the track the way that they did. So I know there's a subtle expectation that 1million's got to bring it and elevate it to justify using the song, even though I know they didn't have a choice. But if the song's been used, so you got to own it, right? I feel like they're taking some form of some Vogue approach to this too. I also know they did a little bit of we're not going to do wax, we're going to use our hair to create those kind of variations. So I understand it was a little bit like that. So some of the choice that they're doing, that was really nice going into the fan and down. I just feel like this is risky that they're not doing anything more complicated in the dynamics and levels and layers and choices. They're not taking as many creative liberties with this as we saw in the first section, right? I'm very curious how Mannequeen's gonna fare with this. I like this choice here. That was fun. Look at that, boom, boom, boom. Super cool, love that. So this is another risk too, is you only have 2 people operating at this section, but I think that's totally fine if you can own it. So they're kind of hyping them up over here, so it kind of looks like a little cipher, a little session. So they're going around doing more. That's Vogue right there, right? But how they're doing is they're hitting the whole counts, boom, boom, hit, hit. With this track and this part of the music, that is the exact opposite of what Mannequeen did. So I'm wondering if part of this is going to be like, because you got you got people that are there from Korea that are in this audience, right? So part of me is like, are they going to really be comparing, ooh, did 1 Million own this track like Mannequeen? As of right now, I don't think they owned it in the way they needed to, being very honest, because it goes back to the things I've said. The complexity, they're not bringing the complexity that is needed to really execute if you're operating with 2 people. This was sick. Not saying that what they're doing is easy. I'm saying it's not, when you are comparing, this isn't an eval. They're not going off of criteria and eval. They're going off of a comparison of another crew that's also used this track. So you have to factor that in. It is not the same as an adjudicated competition. So them hitting this right here, I know they did that because it's from the K-pop challenge, so they did Mannequeen set. That right there, this feels very elementary, what they've done right here. I know they're doing a sense of possible mockery of Mannequeen, which it's a diss battle, you can do that. But because they're not executing the overheads correctly, I do feel that it's because they're stopping it right here. They're not actually fully executing the overhead. And I think that's my biggest reservation with that move right there, is that it would have worked if they did simple into something more complex, but they actually hit the simple overhead correctly. But I like what they did there. But look right here, not everybody did the groove the same way. When you have everybody trying to do the same thing, some of them isolated this chest and they really used the hip, others did the whole body. That right here, because it was an aerial shot, some people over isolated, right? So I would say she didn't use her upper body at all. They used their upper body, but because it's unison, it's so easy to tell. And that was a note I made about Jam. They had minimal cleaning issues, but there were still a couple things that weren't as crisp as they needed to really get the complexity of that groove to work. But they operated with 2 people, so that helped, I think. How they finished up, some of them had their foot down, some of them had their foot up. Yeah, and they kicked. So you heard every sound and they hit it, but there was just near that tail end especially, there was a lot of moments that weren't as clear and concise as they needed to be. So that's my overall note for this. I do know they won the Hwa submission and they got a ton of points from that. So there's a good chance that even if Mannequeen does something and they trump this, they can still take it because of their bonus points they got from the Hwa submission. Do I think part of me feels that 1 Million is probably going to go to the finals? I really believe that. I feel like out of anything, 1 Mill and Jam are for sure going to be in the finals. Just off of their consistency and how they carried themselves throughout the entire competition, they are 2 crews that need to be in the finals. I will express my opinion about the other ones in my outro, but I do know, because I'm analyzing 1 Mill, I'm telling you right now, regardless of what they're doing here or some of these concessions or some of these things, these huge notes that I'm seeing, it's still a good run. It really is. It's still competitive, and there's still a whole section 2, section B that is taking place. And I know they didn't pick Mannequeen, because I know that Wolflo chose My Bebe and Jam chose Lady Bounce, right? So I feel that this is a really tight competition because we saw them go head to head in Mega Crew and they were the 2 best Mega Crews. So here I am curious what Mannequeen's going to bring to the table, because I feel like they really are going to have to go for it, because they do view 1 Million as one of the top competitors, because they are, you know. So we're going to go ahead and let's watch Mannequeen now.
파이터 2 배틀 퍼포먼스 미션 마네퀸을 응원해주세요.
Good to see them kind of do their own thing here. There we go. Wow, they're all having their hair down here. Wow! Swaxy also doesn't have blue hair here. Oh boy! Oh wow! Wow, here we go. Oh, they got a hoop with them.
More hate, more struggles make me stronger than ever you see. More hate, more struggles make me stronger than ever you see me.
Yeah. Wow. What was that? Oh my gosh. Whoa, that's how you do a disc battle. I'm telling you right now. Oh, they were not playing. They said, let us show you how we do it. Wow, I love the energy that they start out here. If you can't tell already, I do have a feeling of who I would vote for out of these two for sure. Ooh, I love that boom. Do. We get to see the Mannequeen coming in hot with their wax. Love it. My one little note here is my dancer right here in this back left. She was a tad bit too, I think she was too early, too late in that turn. Let me see. Three, four, five, six. No, I think she was fine there. I think some of her variations, her range was a little bit off in comparison to everybody else. They are in heels. That's super impressive, and they really showed mad stability in these heels too. This right here, cartwheel over. That was stable right there. It's so fun seeing everybody with their hair down too. Normally we don't see a lot of them with their hair down. Normally it's up and pulled away, so you can really see the accents of what they're doing. But it's so fun to see everybody's hair down. 2, 3. Very strong, very full. I think some of them are really popping off in that lower half a lot more than some of the others, but it is so minor. It doesn't take away from the performance and presence of what we're seeing. Wow. And then you have Yoonji and Waxy going in together. And then this right here. That's another note right here. My dancer right here, she brought this up way too early. I took note of that. That right there. K-pop challenge reference right there. That was such a good dig right there. So good. They even grab it. Then they just pop off right here. So this was sick right here. We have one of her dancers who kind of walked off. Honestly, I preferred this walk off more than the basket run because the walk off made more sense to this transition out than if she tried a basket run out of the way. The circle, I'm trying to remember. Did any other crew that we've seen, did they have a circle camera like this? Because that is freaking sick. That is sick right there. So cool. And she brought her phone around now. They're taking a selfie. Now here's my question. Are they digging at 1MILLION because of their selfies they take or something? I don't know what that's in reference to, but she gets the phone. She just really goes boom, 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 boom. Like just the presence that she has and she carries that lyricism. Great. There's only one or two words she fibbed in the mouthing, but that was so really good as they just took it and they're like, here's the phone. If somebody can tell me what that's in reference to, I know 1MILLION is considered more viral and I know they won the Hwasa challenge, but I don't know if they knew that at this point. Not 100% sure about the order of these things. You know, I wonder what that was a dig to. But them popping off right here, what they did, what this signified to me is they're like, we can do what you do, but we can take it a step further, as what it felt like to me. Like they really they went for some of these moves that we saw 1Mill do in the crew preview, how they hit this in the freaking hoop. We need to talk about this because there was not a single time where there was a bobble. There was not a single time where that hoop it got caught anywhere. Now we see that Yoonji, she has her hair pulled back here. That right there with the drape down, that was super cool with the poses. Super strong. Just the framing with this hoop is phenomenal. I would say out of everybody's prop usage, I love their prop usage. Probably Lady Bounces was awesome. This was next level because I like using a strap, like how they used it was really nice, and how they layered it and how they chose dynamically to use that strap on those backpacks was great. Here, I don't think either some people I don't think people understand how she did that with her turn and the seamlessness of it and how you could travel and see where that hoop was going. That is so impressive what they're doing with this hoop. Yeah, even there, just bleeding through. They're committing through the whole thing, and even the push through the camera work was great here. This section right here, as they're walking right here, it's not taking away because they're walking, but just seeing these girls right here, do you see that they are going for it? Boom, look, with the pow, with the accent of that foot. That was crazy. That da-da-da-da, like they're hitting that, each one. Da-da-da-da. And they go back and then they drop the chest. Like that adds an extra level of sexiness to it. That right there. And then you have your two join in with the hoop in the back. So even where they placed the hoop was tasteful. Of course, with their fabric back here with their shirts, it's not that right there is not super taking away from what they're doing. It's not. That right there with the crown. They are this right there, that boom, like their dynamic choices of how they are hitting out of this. And they're not just doing the move. They're being 100% in control of the whole aspect of the move. So impressive. This was phenomenal. That right there, the lines and just how they're bleeding out of it is so cool. Right here, that was the only little bobble I noticed was just Sarah's transition to getting into this spot right here. We'll see it one more time. But just seeing the framing in the front was so cool right there, getting in there. We've already seen something a fan like that, but it was really cool to just see them and having everybody walk around with the wax to frame it up. Right here, having Waxy do it and not Sarah was mad cool with the wax and the drop. How they framed Sarah, oh my God, how they framed her in the hoop was so cool. The split, boom, boom, boom. Goodness gracious, that is such a cool finish. And they go boom, and they look front. That was insane. That was so cool to see that. Man, if I were, now this is where the toss-up comes in. I think out of all of the crews, I think that the global vote will be, they're operating at a disadvantage between other crews because we know 1Mill's got the advantage, that 500 points I think is what it is, right? That 500 point advantage already. So, but when it comes to Section A and Section C, Mannequeen took both. I really don't think there's a no contest there. If I were a judge, I'd vote Mannequeen because of the complexity, check. Formations, check. The disarray, check. Put that on a t-shirt. The disarray. Check, check, check for sure. Transitions, fabulous. Camera work, love it. Their usage of seeing them represented as a crew, yes. I love the prop and how they use it, and they use it in a very complex way, in a ways that was seamless, and the transitions were beautiful. And I think I've already mentioned that. With 1Mill, there's a couple things that just kind of felt like they were doing choreography at certain points, and they made overly simplistic choices whenever they really needed to push the envelope and take more risks. So that's why I'm saying Mannequeen took risks with a capital R. 1Mill, it felt like they were being safe. And honestly, it makes sense that they were feeling that way because I would be shocked if they don't make it to finals. My hope is that we're able to see Mannequeen in the finals because that performance was phenomenal and very deserving of it. I think it's really a toss-up between a lot of these crews that we're seeing, and I've already mentioned this, I really will be surprised if 1MILLION doesn't make it to finals, and I will be surprised if Jam Republic does not make it to finals, just from their consistency throughout the show. I will say, I really would hope that Mannequeen is one who makes a slot, and with Bebe, I think Bebe and Lady Bounce and Mannequeen, I think all of them can they could definitely fight toe-to-toe on a lot of aspects, because a lot of them had pros and a lot of them had cons. And I would say with Wooflo, I mean, their real shot that they're going to have at finals is if they are not last place in these challenges. And I will be surprised if Wooflo scores high enough in global vote, and they scored high enough with the fight judges in the choreographic sections in order for them to be represented in the finals. Not saying they're bad, never said that. I'm saying that it is not looking in their favor at this point in time compared to, I've watched them all, and those are my thoughts there. But oh, holy guacamole, that was phenom, and I think Mannequeen's was my favorite that I saw out of all of them when it comes to just the dissing. I would say Lady Bounce really took it up a notch as well. What a freaking ride with some of these challenges. I cannot wait to see the results of this challenge, as well as the more detailed point results of the Hwasa challenge, as well as seeing our final performances. It's been such an amazing journey so far, and I love the discussions I've had with everybody, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing how this all unfolds and discussing it alongside with you guys. Thank you again for watching, and I will catch you on the flip side. Bye.